Hey Dungepegs, what's going on? It's LandonRemixes here, and welcome to I'm gonna try to make this a quick review of the 7th studio EP by probably my favorite trap artist on scene right now, LAXX. This one's called Twitch. And I started getting into LAXX about last year with the release of his track Step 2 from his Step 2 EP, and Step 2 is the Step series per se has kind of been the underlying of his career, with Step 1 being immensely successful, Step 2 being even more successful than that, and Step 3 kind of taking a step per se down, and I'm kind of thinking Step 4 is not going to happen at any point. Of course, he released his Step 3 per se EP, and that was pretty solid, but overall, I typically like him for maybe 1 or 2 tracks on his EPs. Other than that, I think he has a pretty unique sound, and I stay away from a lot of his music just because it's, although not standard trap, I'm not too into the genre, but I do think his music is some of the most unique around. With Twitch, which came in 2 parts, Twitch Part 1 and Twitch Part 2, obviously, Never Say Die, I actually waited to listen to the full thing on the iTunes release November 30th, and I was glad I stayed and waited until the end to hear this. And although iTunes does combine this into one EP, they do sound like 2 separate EPs. Come to Me seeming a little bit more of a closer, and Get Up kind of sounding like an opener, and the second track of each miniature EP on this being a collaboration with a well-known artist, the first being Mayhem and the second being Brills. With this EP, I think he's pulled it off probably a lot better than he ever has before with an EP. I think this is his best work. Finally not releasing an EP that's only freaking 3 tracks and then a remix at the end. This one has no remixes on it. He absolutely kills on it. I was pretty hyped for the Brills collab, and although I wasn't disappointed, I was surprised at the kind of style they pulled off, considering I was expecting maybe a little bit more garage house sound, which they released Buck earlier this year on Brills' Geekin' EP. Like I said, this one is probably his most unique yet, and I think he's pulling off a sound that he can really progress from at this point and kind of get out of that step phase where the progressions are very similar and kind of push into his own style at this point. And this one goes pretty hard for most tracks. Didn't really like the one Get Up, which is, like I said, the opener of the second part of the EP. Destruction with Brills is still absolutely crazy, kind of pulls off this glitch hop type tempo, but pulls off a little bit more of a twerk vibe with just this really awesome, catchy lyric line that 1, 2, 3, Destruction, and then just an absolutely intense drop. And this one was just a really fun EP overall, and while I don't think it's the most unique thing he could have put out, I think he's progressing to a point where he could be just an amazing artist, and I'd love to see him work on a debut album. I think it might be happening, as we saw kind of an unexpected debut album from Must Die, which I actually didn't love, even though he's one of my favorites. I think this one could definitely happen, and I'm excited to see if he can make it happen, which I definitely think he could following this 7th EP. I'd like to see him finally be able to push out a full studio one, because he makes so much freaking music. Heck, he put out Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3 EPs all in 2014. I could have made a full studio album along with Step 3 that could, if you take out the remixes, that could have easily been a full studio album. But I think he's trying to build up to a point where him as an artist knows that's the direction where he wants to go. And with this 6-track Twitch EP, I think he finally knows where he's going, and I'm really excited to see where he can head with a debut. Hopefully it happens. I'm not saying I know anything to confirm, because I absolutely don't, but I think this is the direction that he's going, and I'm really excited to hear it because this one absolutely bangs. For trap, this one's pretty awesome. For the rest of music, it's pretty good. So I think the most deserving rating for this one I can give is a solid 7. Like I said, there were 1 or 2 tracks that were fairly average to disappointing to me, the most disappointing being Get Up. But overall, this one's got some awesome bangers. The 2 collaborations absolutely kill it, and I think he couldn't have picked a better 2 partners to work on with this album. And I can't wait to use these tracks in a live setting, because his music is just so fun. So anyway, what do you guys think about this EP? It's kind of weird to see me reviewing EPs not on a rapid fire, but I've got a pretty intense rapid fire coming out pretty soon, featuring Adele and a few others that I really don't think I have a lot to say about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I maybe might see you guys later. Probably. Yeah, look forward to it. Peace.